Why would God choose such a strange strategy? Imagine standing before a city so heavily fortified that no army had ever broken through its walls. Now imagine that instead of handing you swords, battle plans, or siege weapons, God tells you to walk. No attack, no shouting, no fighting, just walk. If you've ever wondered why God sometimes asks us to do things that make absolutely no sense, then stay with me. Because by the end of this story, you might see your own struggles in a completely different light. And if your heart is carrying a battle no one else knows about, subscribe and stay until the end. I truly believe God may use this story to encourage you today. After 40 years of wandering through the wilderness, Israel finally stood at the edge of the promise God had spoken about for generations. But between them and that promise stood Jericho. Its walls weren't just tall, they represented fear, impossibility, and every reason to believe God's promise would never happen. Joshua expected a battle plan. Instead, God whispered something no soldier would ever expect. Walk around the city, once each day, say nothing, trust me. Can you imagine the questions racing through their minds? Every step around those walls must have felt foolish. Every silent lap probably looked like failure to the people watching from inside the city. But sometimes the hardest part of faith is accepting that God's ways rarely look like ours. He asks us to keep praying when nothing changes, to keep forgiving when it still hurts, to keep trusting when we can't see a single sign that He's moving. Then came another test. One day passed, nothing happened. 2 days, still nothing. By the 6th day, those walls looked exactly the same as they did on the first. Have you ever felt like that? Like you've prayed the same prayer over and over, believed, waited, and heaven seems silent? Here's what Jericho reminds us. Silence doesn't mean God is absent. While Israel saw walls that refused to move, God was preparing the exact moment they would fall. Then the 7th day arrived, 7 marches. The priests blew their trumpets. Joshua gave the command. The people shouted with everything they had, and in a single moment, the walls that had stood for generations collapsed, not because Israel had become stronger, but because God had always intended to keep His promise. That's the beauty of this story. God never asked Joshua to bring the walls down. He simply asked him to trust the one who could. Maybe that's what someone watching this needs to hear today. The wall standing in front of you may not fall today, but don't mistake the delay for a denial. Keep walking, keep praying, keep trusting. Because when God says it's time, no wall can remain standing. If this message encouraged you, share it with someone who feels like they've been waiting on God for too long. Sometimes one message can restore a person's hope, and I'd love to hear from you.